Hi, Tony Brayboy here. Welcome to the Retirement Income and Tax Planning webinar. Before we get started, I want to share a quick story. I came into this business as a hotshot, overconfident stockbroker. I did what I was taught, and that was to approach loved ones with the opportunity to strike it rich in the booming tech market. Now, I honestly believed everyone should be taking advantage of one of the greatest bull markets in the history of this country. As a matter of fact, I thought I was going to make my mom rich. So I approached my mom and dad about managing their money. My mom said yes, and my dad said heck no. But he would invest in me and my business, which he did. Wow, I was so overconfident in 1999, it was ridiculous. As you already know, the tech market crashed a year later, and I lost 50% of my mom's money. Unfortunately, during the next 10 years, my mom never made a dime because the market moved sideways for the entire decade, earning less than 1%. We finally gave up because my mom wanted me to get her out of the market to salvage what was left of her retirement dollars. We never recouped her losses, and I was embarrassed and humiliated. I had to learn the hard way that you do not tell someone in their 50s just to hang in there. This is the main reason I became a retirement income planner over 15 years ago. It still hurts today when I think about how I was told what to think and not how to think. My mom has since passed away, but she would be proud of my evolution as a retirement income planner. And oh boy, I wish I would have known the two rules of the great Warren Buffett. Rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, read the first rule. My experience with my mom's retirement dollars is why I want to give you my best during the next 50 minutes or so. Now, I know you may be asking, what is in it for me other than I promise to give you my best? My goal is simple. At the end of this webinar, you will have received a lot of information. The goal is to simplify the complex, create confidence where there was once uncertainty, and to shatter confusion and replace it with clarity. More important, we want them to experience the SWAN effect, sleep well at night. Let's get started with the bottom line up front. I am a retirement income planner, and my goal is to diagram a financial course for my clients to produce guaranteed income to cover all of their needs and most or all of their wants and leave a legacy to the next generation. We use a strategic investment model utilized by endowments like Yale and Harvard. We really want to get you off of the stock market roller coaster by taking advantage of alternative investments. Now, we realize many people are not aware of these types of investments, but we always say, how can you say yes or no to strategies and ideas you may not know to exist? This is why we believe financial education pays the highest dividend, and we invite you to become educated and take this journey with us. I also encourage you to download a free copy of my latest book, Exposed, which may further educate you on your alternatives to Wall Street. Hey, no longer can Wall Street parade around disguised in sheep's clothing. The stock market has been exposed. The typical client we help are people nearing retirement or early into retirement. Oh, one more detail. We know this process can be a bit overwhelming, but to help maintain clarity, balance, and focus, you will have the opportunity to have all your assets aggregated in one system 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is the same system that helps us monitor every area of a client's financial strategy. Keep in mind that many of you are just one idea away from massive financial success. And we have a special treat for you today. We have Mark Fuller, founder of Manager of Wealth, as a special guest. I shared the One Idea philosophy with Mark, and he has attended virtually every seminar or webinar presented over the last 13 years. Hi, Mark.
Thanks, Tony. Thank you for accepting my invitation and allowing me to share with you in this dynamic webinar. I'm excited. I hope everybody listening is excited about the topic and the subject matter at hand, retirement planning and tax planning, because uh, I was introduced to Tony Brayboy in 2007 at a time when uh, having the right advice around what to do with capital was critical. I owned a lot of land, I had a successful company, owned a lot of real estate and income producing properties, doing development work and all those things, and trying to produce the best financial outcomes for my clients who were relying on me for real estate advice and strategic planning advice around their businesses. And when I met Mr. Grayboy and he started to really walk me through what I really should be doing with capital and how I could grow and build it and protect it, it was a huge departure from what I had learned traditionally. And it absolutely blew me away, but it absolutely saved my financial future. And from what I learned, I introduced my entire family, my parents who were nearing retirement at the time, who are now very securely retired, and my brother and sister, professor and doctor, to him. And he's been managing them ever since, as well as all of my clients. We started actually having events so that my clients could simply come and learn the right financial advice that would actually help them not get destroyed by the market of 2008 and not deal with the vicissitudes of different markets, the ups and downs. And I got to tell you, when our family first began working with Tony, he gave us one critical piece of advice that exposed a huge hole in our entire financial plan, which was just looking at and updating your will and how to do that properly. When we looked at the will that we had, we saw that that will had been created when I was 8 years old. And so, therefore, at the time, I was in my mid 30s. And so, you can imagine how ineffective a will from when you were 8 years old would be should anything ever happen to the leaders of your family. Something that was created 3 decades before would have turned into an absolute mess. And so, just that piece of advice as a foundational piece on top of everything else that we would come to learn was absolutely amazing. And so, I really thank Tony for educating us and bringing us into the modern times and helping us to understand exactly what it is that we needed to do. And I have to say that this has been a beautiful 13-year relationship between Tony, myself, my family, my clients. It has been absolutely amazing, and we learn more and more every day. As Tony said, I go to every financial seminar that he gives so that I can learn the next piece that will help us grow to the next level. So I'm amazed, and hey, we're off to the races. Let's everybody just get prepared to learn. Get a pen and a paper, and let's get some great information.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate your comments. I personally believe everyone should have a financial plan. However, I tend to disagree with Wall Street's version of a financial plan. My biggest disagreement is that you are required to answer a bunch of questions that require unknown answers. Here's what I mean. You walk into a typical financial planning office and you are hit with questions such as, at what age do you want to retire? Next is, what is the average rate of return you expect to achieve on your investments before retirement? Now you must guess. Another question is, what is the average rate of return you expect to achieve on your investments during retirement? You must guess again. Another one is, what is the average rate of inflation during your retirement? Again, you must guess. How long do you expect to live? Now that's the ultimate guess. I think many of you will agree, if you have been through this process, it can be a bit uneasy. Don't get me wrong, we ask many of the same questions. The major difference is no matter how hard we try to make accurate assumptions about future events, we will be wrong. When clients hear about our simplistic yet comprehensive approach, they want to experience it for themselves. So they often bring these huge leather binders with them when they meet with us for a second opinion. For the most part, many people have never read the information in the binder. They said it was too overwhelming. But the goal is to diagram a financial course, making course corrections along the way. The process is dynamic and always in motion. We continuously monitor plans so we can stay abreast of needed course corrections. Remember, we talked about one good idea. What if you could see your financial picture on one page? We often hear, "Oh, now I get it." And if we need to dig deeper into each facet of your plan, it is still short and to the point. We had one client who was very emotional about seeing her financial life on one page. She said it was an aha moment, and everyone should have a choice to see the exhausting binder of financial assumptions or to see a one-page overview of their financial life that moves at the speed of business. We always say, simplicity takes discipline. Just envision the possibilities of a plan you fully understand. Working with us on your plan is like being a pilot in training, so to speak. We utilize a model much like a flight simulator. It starts easy, and then one problem is added on top of another. We do the same thing when it comes to stress testing your plan with real-world, life-changing events, such as increased taxes, disability, death, inflation, to name a few. One thing for sure, a plan that does not survive under all circumstances is really no plan at all. We believe the key to arriving safely is the pilot's ability to make small, consistent course corrections. Just imagine boarding a plane and the captain says, "Welcome aboard. It's a beautiful day. We have a 70% chance of landing." You and everyone else would run to the nearest exit. It is about the course corrections, not the plan. Everyone's situation is unique, so proper planning with course corrections and the right mix of financial tools is key. Therefore, the talking heads on TV have nothing to do with your reality. It is virtually impossible to offer the best advice possible without ever having met you. So where do you start? We start with a simple question. What is your why? When I first ask the question, I normally get this strange look. But when I rephrase the question and ask, why are you investing? What are the goals unique to you? Then the financial floodgates open up with their why. For example, I want a beach home and the cost is $300,000 with a mortgage payment of $1,800 per month. I want to take 2 vacations, one to Paris and one to Hawaii, for a total cost of $40,000. Now here's the important why for many people. And it is, I want to maintain my same standard of living in retirement, plus the cost of maintenance and inflation, which will be $6,000 per month. Okay, now math and science kick in and I can quantify your why. Your why becomes the benchmark. It becomes your personal economy, not the stock market. Just for the record, after a decade plus of helping people achieve their why, they do not care about percentages, they care about dollars. You cannot pay the mortgage with a bunch of percentages. That is why we like to put a dollar figure on each goal. You are no longer chasing stock market returns. You are laser focused on obtaining your why and what it takes to achieve your goals. Unfortunately, many advisors have not migrated to this approach and continue to give advice using outdated models.
Mark? Hey, Tony, I want to just jump in here really quickly because I want to let everybody know something. You know, one of the deepest realities that and revelations that I came to was that it literally costs, and the investment is literally the same for doing things that get you to your goal and doing things that cause you to miss your goal. So when we think about what we have traditionally done and how We have thrown money into the stock market, which we'll talk about. A lot of people have literally invested past their goal. They have actually, by putting capital in the wrong place, kind of guaranteed that they wouldn't make it to their goal. Whereas I don't ever recall at any time sitting down with a financial professional who just asked me how much money I was going to need or want and started planning backwards from there. That was a huge revelation because sometimes you figure out, like, for instance, had I uh, done those calculations prior to the real estate boom and when I was doing development, I would have cashed out a lot earlier and protected my assets a lot earlier, the way you ultimately advised me to do. And I would have saved hundreds of thousands of dollars more in the right vehicles without any risk. But I missed that opportunity to do so because we never had a conversation about why I was even working and investing in the first place. So I want everybody to pay close attention because you might be out there right now with the ability to make absolutely everything you want to happen come true, and your strategy is counterproductive and counterintuitive to actually getting you there.
Thanks, Mark. Let me see if I can help you. Your financial life is like climbing Mount Everest and reaching the top, which is the accumulation goal. But as you get to the top, you look down and realize you have a long, dangerous journey down the other side of the mountain, which is the distribution goal. And then to make matters worse, it is brought to your attention more people die on the way down the mountain than on the way up. You must ask yourself, will your assets convert to enough guaranteed income to carry you down the mountain, or will they run out early and have you stranded midway? It is my job as a holistic retirement income planner to navigate the trip down the dangerous side of the mountain. You see, most advisors are accumulation advisors. They focus on growing your money. However, the strategies that got you up the mountain can leave you stranded on the way down. Now, Wall Street has a retirement income plan also. Here's how it works. You accumulate as much as you can and then systematically withdraw no more than 4% from your portfolio. For example, $1.5 million under the 4% rule is $60,000 before taxes. Good luck with such a strategy when it comes to guaranteed income to meet all your needs and most or all of your wants. This strategy also keeps the money in the market so that Wall Street can continue to charge fees. Do not forget, you put up 100% of the money and take 100% of the risk, and Wall Street charges you a fee for the privilege to put your money at risk and to worry at night. Don't forget, Wall Street makes its money as accumulation advisors, meaning their expertise is how to grow your money. Always keep in mind that a retirement income specialist is the expert in getting you down the mountain safely, also known as a retirement distribution planner. Many years ago, the great hockey player Wayne Gretzky stated while being interviewed that most hockey players skate to where the puck is. I skate to where the puck is going to be. So we may want to consider skating to where the financial puck is going to be. The baby boomers are skating towards the future at a rate of $300,000 per month for the next 10 years. Boomers are leaving the workforce and buying goods and services unique to them, such as recreation and upscale assisted living and so on. So it looks like we're heading into the perfect storm. The deficit is over $27 trillion, but the 800-pound gorilla is unfunded liabilities, which are promises to fund programs like Social Security and Medicare. But they are unfunded to the tune of $155 trillion. So we have a colossal problem with no money to pay for the promises. Meanwhile, there's a baby boom tsunami in progress. It will only get bigger and bigger every day. And they are expecting their Social Security and Medicare. And it appears the only way to put a dent into the problem is to raise taxes and or reduce benefits. Now, this slide is amusing, but the reality is we need to take longevity off the table by creating guaranteed income that will last as long as you do, to cover all your needs and most or all of your wants. George Foreman said it best. It is not at what age you retire, it is at what income. Longevity is a multiplier because the longer you live, there may be other age-related issues to deal with, such as long-term care. For retirees and pre-retirees, just remember the accumulated number is meaningless in or near retirement. For example, if you have $100,000 and you want to withdraw $4,000 per year, in the first year your account grows to $120,000 or 20%, withdrawing $4,000 is doable. However, if you lose $20,000 and withdraw $4,000, you may start to panic just a bit because you are working only with $76,000. Losses at the wrong time, such as the first couple of years, can be disastrous, to say the least. Hey, Mark, feel free to jump right in.
That concept is so huge because, first of all, we use ambiguous words like you ask people what they're looking for, and they say they want to achieve wealth. And to define what that is, I used a term that I developed from the initial seminars that you taught back in the early 2000s when I told people, wealth is you being able to pay for all of your needs and necessities, to pay for most of your wants and leave a financial legacy to the next generation. And most people, if they look at their plan, it's not there. And they don't understand that, since January 1st of 2011, 10,000 people a day, not 10,000 people a year, 10,000 people a day are turning 65, and that's going to happen for 20 years straight. And so, therefore, we're really looking at a situation where that group, those baby boomers, have over 70% of all of the assets and revenue in the country. There's nothing else to tax in the country other than the assets of that group. So when you get into that group understanding exactly what their income is going to be, protecting that income, and also being in the most tax efficient strategies that they possibly can be in, they don't understand that they are the bullseye that the tax system has to hit. And so I don't want anybody listening to this to take it lightly and just blow by and think that if I just, make enough money or the stock market performs, that I'm just going to be safe from that. You are the target that the tax system is trying to hit, and it is keeping you from being wealthy. So understanding exactly where your money is coming from, how much money it's going to be, and what is the net amount of capital that you actually will have to spend is absolutely crucial.
Great stuff. Thanks, Mark. Speaking of skating to where the financial puck is going to be, it is important to know the history of taxes. The highest marginal tax bracket was 94%. We are in one of the lowest marginal tax brackets since the Great Depression. So let me ask you, where do you think taxes will be in the future? Higher or lower? Most of my seminar and webinar attendees think the marginal tax rates will be higher. Many people leave money on the table when they take their tax documents to a tax preparation professional to complete a tax return for the previous year. There is little or no tax planning involved because the preparation specialist is in the reactionary mode, while the tax planner takes a proactive role throughout the year, searching for strategies that help you mitigate taxes. This is why a holistic retirement income specialist is needed. He or she will ensure you undergo tax planning, not tax preparation. Here's a great quote by Judge Leonard Hand. He stated that anyone may so arrange his affairs that his taxes shall be as low as possible. He is not bound to choose that pattern which will best pay the Treasury. When people come to see us for a second opinion, the question I hear the most is, are we going to be okay? My answer is simple. We need to use the right strategy, one that utilizes endowments such as Yale, Harvard, and Princeton, among a few. We use the household endowment model and where the best team is assembled to ensure your financial goals are coordinated. Here are the benefits of the household endowment model. It brings true diversification in both public and private investments, such as life settlements, private real estate, oil and gas, safe money contracts, and secondary market annuities, to name a few. The goal is to mitigate risk, meet cash flow needs, mitigate taxes, and help produce the SWAN effect. Sleep well at night. The good part is we can copy endowment portfolios such as the Yale endowment model because individual investors now have greater access to endowment type investments. Check out the asset allocation of the Yale endowment portfolio. Now keep in mind the portfolio in this example is subject to change. Just remember the main purpose is to illustrate that 75% of the holdings in the Yale endowment portfolio are not correlated with the market. So your entire portfolio does not move in lockstep with the stock market. Here's an example many of you can relate to. When traffic is at a standstill and you see cars in the other lane just moving right along and you jump over to the lane that was moving, what happens? The lane you moved over to stops. So the trip consists of you switching back and forth between lanes. That is what people do in the stock market. They jump in and out of the market, getting into the market when it is high and jumping out when it is low. Ask yourself, are you stuck in a prehistoric portfolio of correlated investments, which means the portfolio holdings move in the same direction? Another tidbit, be aware that most mutual funds claim diversification as one of their strengths. Remember in 2008, your heart dropped along with your portfolio as you watched your entire diversified portfolio fall off a cliff. Whatever happened to the notion a diversified portfolio would zig when the market zagged? Many investors are not aware that mutual funds are not required to disclose their trading cost. So the more they buy and sell, the higher the trading cost, which is not disclosed to you. One of the most well-kept secrets for mutual funds is revenue sharing, and where mutual fund companies pay incentive bonuses to brokers for placing business with them. I encourage you to ask for the revenue sharing disclosure. You might be surprised. Bottom line, a lot of mutual funds have too many disclosed and undisclosed fees eating away at your profits. Mark?
Yeah, Tony, one thing that I wanted people to think about, it's always good to lean on your practical knowledge and experience. And I want everybody listening to this to think about something. Think about all of the well-off people that you know, because as Tony said, statistically, it's a very small number of people who retire really, truly financially secure. Did the people that you know that really have unlimited resources and multiple streams of income, and I'm talking about the ones that you know, not the ones that you see on television, are they stock market millionaires or are they business millionaires? Is it their multiple sources of income, whether it be owning investment property, whether it be owning a business, owning a laundromat, owning a liquor store, owning a dry cleaner? Is it that revenue stream and that income that makes them wealthy, or was it making the money in those things and throwing the money into the stock market? What most of us already know is that the stock market is not where the people that we know, that's not where their money came from. Yet, what is being offered to people is go out, make your income, and stick your money into one of the most risky investments possible, which is the volatile up and down stock market, which has crashed every 7 years during your lifetime. Like, check these statistics. Whoever's listening, during your lifetime, the stock market has crashed every 7 years. Okay? And yet, that's where the American public is being directed. But if you go back and you check the history, before the Retirement and Reinvestment Act of 1977, which created the qualified plan, the IRA, the 401k, the 403b, the thrift savings plan for government employees. Most Americans have pension plans. What is a pension plan? It is a plan with a guaranteed income that you know what the income is going to be when you start investing in the plan. And so, what we're talking about here is getting yourself back to a system where you know what the outcome is going to be. But be clear, I don't know, Tony doesn't know, and you don't know people who have been successful in the model that is being promoted day in, day out at every American business, at every state and federal government job. We don't know people who have literally en masse been successful in that model, and statistically, it has absolutely never happened.
Excellent comments, Mark. Thanks. This is why we like the household endowment model. It utilizes a holistic retirement income specialist to be the financial quarterback. And the goal is to assemble or coordinate with some of the best experts in their field. Think about how you would feel to have all of your finances working together to create a comprehensive, coordinated plan. Just imagine how it feels to relax as you move towards the SWAN effect. By the way, we want the SWAN effect for everyone on this webinar. If you choose, you can reduce your exposure to a volatile market and still obtain your why, which is now the goal, not to beat the stock market. Okay, people ask me all the time, if the household endowment model is so great, why don't more people know about it? That's an easy question to answer. First, the information source for most people is Wall Street, friends, and family, or the celebrity talking heads providing advice to people they have never met and do not know their unique circumstances. What they offer is a cookie-cutter process that might not be in your best interest. Rollo May, the distinguished psychiatrist, wrote a wonderful book called A Man's Search for Himself. And in this book he says, the opposite of courage in our society is not being a coward, it is conformity. And there you have the trouble today. It's conformity. People acting like everyone else without knowing why. Take any group of 100 people at the start of their working career and follow them to age 65, and here's what you will find according to the Social Security Administration. Only one will be wealthy. 4 will be financially secure. 5 will continue working not because they want to, but because they have to. 36 will be deceased. 54 will be dead broke, dependent on the meager Social Security checks, relatives, friends, and even charity for a minimum standard of living. That is 5% successful and virtually everyone else unsuccessful. According to Forbes, the top 1% control 43% of all the wealth in the United States, and the next 4% control 29% of the wealth. The top 5% control almost 75% of the wealth, leaving crumbs for the crowd to fight over. And by the way, there's that top 5% again. Let's take a look at some of the traits of the wealthy. They do things in a certain way. They have several sources of income. There is that magic word again, income. They invest a good chunk of their earnings. They focus on providing value and making profits. They leverage debt to make money. And they have financial literacy. The rest of the population, well, they have one source of income, trading time for money. They spend capital on liabilities. They focus on making money instantly, better known as the get-rich-quick schemes. They use debt to buy liabilities, and oh my gosh, they don't have time to learn new ideas. Now you know why more people don't know about the household endowment model. The good part is you can use the same philosophy of the top 5% or even the top 1% when building your wealth creation model. Just understanding your options and to see your finances on one page is worth a 15-minute chat with me. Think about it. There's only so much I can teach you in our brief time together, so get ready to learn how to invest and manage your family's wealth in such a way that you might generate higher total returns, lower risk, stabilize your portfolio, and realize your financial goals, your why. Finally, we take all your goals and dreams and incorporate them into a comprehensive estate plan. We love making the complex simple. How about all the documents required to complete your estate plan? Take less than 1 hour to complete and cost about a third of the average plan. Everyone on this call deserves a quality estate plan that is affordable and not time consuming. So how do you feel about having the SWAN effect as the cornerstone of your financial strategy? If the SWAN effect appeals to you, feel free to schedule a chat with me to see if the household endowment model is right for you. Thanks for spending time with us. We know your time is valuable, and we hope you received some useful ideas. As a thank you, you're entitled to a free retirement audit. This is not your standard retirement audit. It contains all the information we discussed today on one page. Be sure to schedule a short chat. You will be glad you did. We want everyone to experience the amazing SWAN effect. Thank you, and have a fantastic day.